Welcome to Crown Light Studio Business Forum. Each forum, we highlight businesses or people in our community that are either making a difference or providing a vital service in the lives of its citizens. Today, we are joined by Deputy Chief Vincent Pryce of the Melbourne Police Department. Welcome, Deputy Chief. How are you?
Thank you. We're doing well today.
Good to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's begin. I read somewhere that it says that Melbourne is the engineering hub of the county. So what brought you here?
Well, I originally got out the Air Force here, and jobs was here in Melbourne. Melbourne is considered the hub of the county. A lot of our aerospace industry is here, Harris is here, hospital is here, Grumman, all of those companies are right here centrally located in Melbourne. And so that was one of the things that attracted me here. The city at the time when I first moved here in the mid-'80s it still is very picturesque. You have the harbor there, you have the beach not too far away. A lot more restaurants and things are here now, and even back then there was opportunity for growth here. And then also I found my thrill and met my wife, and I think I was sealed from there, and I've been here now since mid-'80s.
That's very good. Okay, so now you're here and you're serving in a great capacity. You've actually been promoted throughout the department. You started off as?
I started in 1987. And I started as a patrol officer. From there, in the early 90s, I got promoted to sergeant and then lieutenant. Did various jobs throughout the police department, detectives, narcotics. Got promoted to sergeant, then went to lieutenant, then went to commander. Was fortunate enough to kind of have touched all of the different divisions within our department. And then in 2015, I was promoted to deputy chief.
Congratulations. That is quite impressive.
Thank you.
It's quite impressive. So as the deputy chief, what falls within your range of duties? Because I think I saw somewhere it says day-to-day operations. That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. Luckily, I have very good people, the officers, the detectives, the sergeants, the lieutenants, the other members of the command staff, and including our Chief Mims, around to help out. But the day-to-day operations includes everything from budgeting, everything related to operations, relating to patrol, relating to investigations, all of those functions, special operations with our specialty teams, such as our dive and crisis negotiation, our community policing functions, all of those community response team, all of those work groups would fall under the deputy chief.
Okay, in reference to the community response team, tell us a little bit more about how your department actually get involved with the community.
Wow, I wish I brought the list of different things that we are involved in. We're involved in our schools and different school programs, anti-bullying. We are involved in our community policing. We support Neighborhood Watch. We also now have a program that's called Next Door, which is now the next generation of what the traditional Neighborhood Watch used to be. And that is an online or a cyberspace type of Neighborhood Watch now. So we're involved in social media, Facebook, Twitter. We're also on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel. All of those different things, our volunteer program, our VCOP program, which are our volunteer citizens on patrol component, all of those things, our chaplains, just the cadre of volunteers. We must have about 70 volunteers that are part of it, are part of the department. We also have a group of business leaders that got together and became the Melbourne Police Foundation. And basically they do fundraisers and they raise funds to help support the operations of the police department. Recently they bought brand new ballistic SWAT helmets for our SWAT team. Things that are not that we cannot and usually do not and are not able to get through the normal budgeting channels, this foundation, this group, these business leaders get together, and they conduct fundraisers to help raise funds earmarked specifically for items that the police department needs to replace and needs technology and things that need to come online.
That is excellent that the businesses are also involved
Yeah.
in line with the police department, which leads me to this question about protecting and serving. Okay, that was started back in 1955 with the LAPD as a contest, is what when I did my research. That was a contest. Does the Melbourne department has a motto, or do they just follow in line with serve, protect?
Protect and serve is probably the motto of every police agency in its context. And what I mean by that is protecting and serving is the job and the duty and the responsibility of our law enforcement or our first responders. That's our job. Each agency has a little twist to protecting and serving. For ours, our motto would be committed to excellence. But the concept of protect and serve is probably more visible, more prevalent now than it was back when it first started back in LA in the 50s. Every agency now, I think ever since the incidents that happened in Ferguson, Missouri, law enforcement has been trying to basically reintroduce ourselves to the community. We're trying to add value to the community and show what value we serve as a partner within the framework of the community. So protect and serve is still there if you want to use that as the mantra, but each agency will have their own niche or their own something that they take and they have personalized so that it means something to each and every member of the department.
So your department is protect and serve with excellence.
You could. I like that. That has a real nice ring to it. You might see that again somewhere.
Okay. I have a final question for you, sir. Let us know if there were people interested in finding out more about what is happening with the Melbourne Police Department and how they're interacting in the lives of people in the community. Where is it that they would go to get these information?
Excellent question. You could like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us on YouTube. But we do have a website, Melbourne Police Department, City of Melbourne, melbournepolice.org is our website. You can go there and gain more information on what's going on in the happenings within the department. Nowadays, most people are on Facebook and Twitter. So who are we not to join the crowd and to use it for the purpose of connecting with our community? We post good things about things that the officers are doing in their own personal lives as much as we can, and things that the officers are doing within the community. We use that forum to let you know about arrests. We use that forum to let you know about events that are coming up and places where, like Shop with a Cop, we usually do in December, but Coffee with a Cop. Every quarter, we do a Coffee with a Cop. We go to some establishment, some partnership that we have with an already existing establishment, and they give us a section of their business to set up, and our commanders are there, our community resource officers are there, and we just have coffee and we sit and kind of like what we're doing now. We sit, we talk, we exchange ideas, we hear complaints, we get good information about stuff that we may not have realized was going on or was impacting the quality of life within that specific community. So we do that. We're members of the Chamber of Commerce. We network. We go places and we network and we meet different people. Recently at a networking event, I met the manager from Sam's out on West Melbourne. Oftentimes we do community outreach programs, which, hot dogs, soda, water, those types of things that we give, that we would love to we can't always go buy it, but if we have a partner, somebody that'll partner with us and help us to get those things, so that we can use those things as we go out and we outreach in the community. The other opportunity, people have an opportunity to volunteer. We do a Citizens Academy. We have our VCOP. We call them VCOPs, but they're basically citizens on patrol, volunteer police officers. There are also volunteer people that come in and help us with clerical things and with fingerprinting. We have a wide range of volunteer opportunities that are there. Our chaplains are volunteers. So that there's plenty of opportunity. I think we have about 70 total volunteers, people that have committed their personal time to come and help the Melbourne Police Department. An invaluable resource. I think last year, off the top of my head, maybe they volunteered about 12,000 hours. Now, 12,000 hours is literally the equivalent of a full-time employee of about maybe well over $100,000. Well over $100,000. They are invaluable in our ability to do what we do in the community.
We give thanks for volunteers.
We thank
you
them.
mentioned something about West Melbourne.
West Melbourne.
Yes.
Why would I even talk about that?
Yeah, why would you even mention West Melbourne when there is a distinction between jurisdictions? So what is the jurisdictions between West Melbourne, Melbourne Beach, and how does that figure into where your jurisdiction lies?
That's interesting that you would ask that. Oftentimes when I go to meetings, and usually we go around the round table and everybody kind of introduces themselves. Usually when it comes to me, I always say the Melbourne Police Department, so that there's a clear distinction between who Melbourne is and who West Melbourne, Melbourne Village, Melbourne Beach, all of those agencies are. Melbourne incorporated in 1969. You have incorporated, you have unincorporated parts of every city. Most cities, history-wise, will incorporate so that you don't come and take over my city and run things the way you would want to run them, because I want to run them the way we want to run them. So most cities will incorporate to protect themselves. A lot of times cities have a little bit more opportunity at federal dollars than maybe, let's say, the county. So a lot of times it's about power, it's about control. I want to provide, if I'm an elected official in my city, I want to make sure that you and everybody else has resources and services specifically geared to them. I want their tax dollars used in this environment to provide the services to improve the quality of life within our community. So all of West Melbourne, Melbourne Village, Melbourne Beach, they all have the title Melbourne, but there's only one, the Melbourne Police Department.
The Melbourne Police Department. And you are the Deputy Chief of the Melbourne Police Department. Deputy Chief Pryce, we thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you.
It's been an honor.
And we wish you and the department well as you guys continue to serve and protect with excellence.